Alright, here we are at 2021.4.6. The car says minor fixes. Let's get a look and see in a bit about what's actually going on. But as you can see, we're currently dealing with a little bit of wintry weather. I like how the car always opens up a little view for itself, so it's not sitting in the dark. But anyway, we will see once the snow is all cleared what is hidden in this update. We'll catch you on the flip side. You'll see chapter markings down below indicating what you're looking at. You'll see closed captioning if you need it for my rate of speech and accent. Kacey here. We've dug the car out of the ice and we're now going to do our deep dive to software update 2021.4.6. I've heard from a couple people that their climate control was disabled by the update. Some of them were able to get it back with a restart. We'll let you know if anything happens to ours. And there's a couple other things we want to test today, but let's get started by first telling you about our vehicle. It's a 2018 Tesla Model X P100D that had the full self-driving computer upgrade performed in December of 19. The car was built in August of 2018, and it is the 7-seat edition. Today we're going to test how the car does with flashing yellow lights, how it does with smart summon to target, smart summon come to me. We're going to see how navigation on Autopilot does, how auto steer does, how stopping and starting from green lights behind and in pole position, and whatever else is notable, we'll pull that up along the way. So first I want to thank our patrons and our channel members. You can click that join button down below if you are interested in becoming a member. And then we'll catch you on the flip side. Let's jump into it. All right, slightly aggressive stop to a traffic coming up at a red light. Next up is the yellow light. Okay, it sees the flashing lights on the dash. Sorry for all the clunking and stuff. All right, I'm acknowledging and it's fighting me. All right, tow truck coming up behind us. They take over manually. That's a fail. It's not just any tow truck, one of them big F350 types, so F450? Either way. Oh, and he's behind us again. All right, so flashing yellow light, the one that we have to do manually. Trying to avoid the manhole cover. Okay. It sees it, and it's gonna go through. All right, so again, 1 out of 2. Not the greatest performance. All right, coming up on stop to traffic at a green light. It's rather aggressive, but I think that's because the brakes are doing some of the work rather than just the regen braking. Our squeaky seat repair is already worn out. You might be able to hear it. You might not. I'm not wearing the mic that usually picks it up. The good thing is we don't usually drive around in frozen weather with that seat empty, so we'll just deal with it right now rather than dealing with COVID protocols and trying to get them to fix it again since it didn't work. All right, it's doing quite well with the erratic driving of these people. Fast, slow for no apparent reason. Let's see if it stops with this phantom traffic light again. It might. Oh, okay. This time it did not. But we need to get over so we can get on the highway. That was a clean merge on city streets. Next, we're going to help it get into the on-ramp. It's the compound on-ramp. We're just going to start flashing the flashers till it gives us the car. There it is, and then we will continue on. Ooh, lots of traffic. So this will be fun. All right, let's see what kind of speed limits it picks. Probably all kinds of wrong ones. Smoothness is okay. It's not riding the paint. It's close, but it's not riding the paint. Hadn't done that in a couple versions. Okay, it was dense traffic. We'll probably have to help it with this turn. Wow, that was aggressive. I don't know if it was avoiding that snow bank or what. All right, go, go, go. So I don't think it let me up, but I think it propped it up first. Okay, that was decent. And now we'll see at the tail of this final merge if it, one, handles the curve smoothly, and two, if it gets into the correct path early, or if it tries to go a little further to the exit-only lane. Still hasn't picked the correct speed limit, so we're going to reset that by pulling the stalk. Not that we're going to get to that speed with this traffic. Our software map version is 2020.48 still. Model Y. All right, so the car handled the little hook at the end of the on-ramp just fine. We're going to signal to get it over because it's not going fast enough to my liking to deal with traffic. Now let's see how it deals with slower traffic. It might not be as aggressive knowing that the whole road is blocked. Still very aggressive with the brakes when the battery is not quite up to temperature yet. There goes that Model Y. Somebody who needs a brake job. Ooh, don't hit us, guy. It's called proper following distance. Don't have time for that. My friend Tony had asked how the hands-on wheel prompts were, so I'm actually testing that right now. Car didn't swing too wide in that lane there when it got wider at the slower speeds. That's nice. Usually the problem is on ramps, not off ramps, though. But it did. If you were looking closely at the map, you could see that it did hang a little low to the left. And my hands-on wheel prompt is the same as always, so that answers that question. I didn't know to check the other one because how often do they mess with the hands on the wheel prompt? But if that's something you guys want me to test more often, just let me know and I'll add it to the regimen. I'm gonna cut almost all of this out, but I'll just keep rolling in case anything interesting happens, because in traffic is where you get the most crazies. All right, it looked like it avoided that debris in the road. That was nice. All right, now let's try to change lanes. It sees the truck sees us. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna do it manually because he's letting us go. And, well, I don't want to be rude. But the fear I had in, 3 versions ago that we tested of it cutting off trucks is not a problem again, so I do like that. I run my following distance at a 4. My comfort level is a 3, but you get a lot of rocks and other debris kicked up off the road at a 3 following distance, and with the world's largest automotive grade windshield on a production car, I don't feel like paying for any of them. They used to be free in my old state, but nobody will confirm to me if they're free now. I've canceled that lane change just because traffic was getting slower in the lane it was trying to go to. Okay, it's got enough room. It's going to make the change. Very competent. So far, navigate on autopilot as far as the passing slower moving traffic seems just fine. Unchanged from our last test. We'll see if anything unique comes out of this. Next up, it's going to, well, I'm well below the set speed, so it might not try to get me out of the lane, but it should next try to get me out of the passing lane. Alright, there it is, taking us out of the passing lane. It did wait until we hit the set speed, so it wasn't too annoying. Alright, it just hit a pothole. No pothole detection on this version. At 2.3 miles, the screen is indicating that it wants to make a lane change. But even though it wanted to make a lane change, it also wanted to drive faster than slow traffic. So I still am liking this new navigate on autopilot behavior with regard to passing, where it's a little more willing to do the pass than to adhere rigidly to the lane it needs to be in. All right, at 1.6 miles, it wants to get into the next lane from where we need to be. See if this Audi lets us. Nope. How about the Ultima behind it? That's a negative. Oh, it's gonna do it anyway. Oh. All right, so we're gonna record that, and it's gonna try again. All right, so it's still willing to just try to see if somebody will let it in. It did go back just like it did last time with the truck. All right, we're at 1.3. It's indicating that it really wants to get over. Let's see what happens next. All right, signals. Plenty of room in front of this BMW and behind this Ford Escape. Heavy braking, okay. All right. Indicating that it wants to get over again. All right, at 0.6 miles, it enters into the final lane. At this speed, I think that's fine. At higher speeds, I think I'd prefer the old 1.3 miles, but I have a feeling that they did this on purpose, and I like it. It feels good. It feels natural. All right, now let's handle the compound off-ramp. With the map versions unchanged, I imagine that the speeds are going to be all over the map. First it's going to drop down, and then it's going to pick back up, and then it's going to drop back down again, just because of the way that this one is tagged in the map. And then we'll see how it handles the curve and getting off at the exit. And again, since the map hasn't changed, it will assume that, or I will assume that it's going to treat the end of this maneuver, all of it, as if there's a stop sign at the end. We'll have to acknowledge to continue. So a little more lane hunting with this, all this salt and de-icer on the ground. Handled that quite smoothly. There's the speed dip. And right about that sign, it'll pick me up, pick right back up again. Drops from navigate on autopilot to autopilot with Autosteer. Oh wow, it went all the way back up this time. Not that it hasn't before, but oftentimes it'll just stick at that 55. Very smooth. Not on the paint. Heavy braking. Again, I think that might be because it's out of room for regen with this battery temperature. Smooth, smooth, all right, smooth. A lot of times it would complain here. It's not a bad job. Wow, all right. A+, all right, acknowledge and signal. All right, Porsche, let us out. Okay, perfect. A+ maneuvering. All right, so next we're going to steer out of Autosteer so that we don't hit the potholes, or the manhole covers, actually. then we are going to take over to handle this double lane change maneuver. We'll go with the light. We don't need to take over. Yeah, that way it's only a single lane change. Yes, I see the traffic controller. You're going to turn at the light. I love it when the regen comes back. Not a big fan of having to use the friction brakes. I think that we will try our smart summon testing here in a different part of this lot. It's very crazy, so we might not. Crazy as in it's like a bunch of really bad drivers and a lot of activity. So we'll see how I feel if we can't find a quieter part of the lot. And with that, I'll catch you on the flip side. I said that, but we've got an Autopark, so reverse, start, watch for cross traffic. He will probably have a problem with us because he looks like an impatient Mercedes driver, but we'll see. He, she, he's waiting to pick somebody up, so maybe not. Nope, she's impatient. Why would you see what somebody's doing? Why would you maneuver in front of somebody who's backing up and turning around? You think everybody's looking? Ooh. Hey, road rage. This one might try and not come out straight, so watch it when I'm in there. Just boop, boop. All right. Autopark is still good. We'll catch you on the flip side. All right, so the mail truck is not moving. We're going to do a smart summon to target. So we're going to summon. Summon's not ready. Oh, I'm still in gear. Then get out of gear. Smart summon. We're definitely not going in the street. We can come a little bit closer to the mail truck there. Line up at the corner of the building. Cross traffic to go. All right, and now we're going to go to target. Max speed is P for parking. All right, so next I'm going to get out and we're going to do a smart summon to come to me. All right, I get too fancy because this is just the other side of that same crazy parking lot. Okay, it's nothing too fancy. We're just on the other side of this pickup truck, around the corner from the car. We're gonna call it into this little area here. All right, I can see traffic going each way. Here we go. Good enough. All right, let's see if it opens the door for us. It does. Let's see if it opens the door all the way for us. It does not. It does. So that's Smart Summon. And let's get back on the road and then see what else the car presents us with. Catch you on the flip side. All right, here we are at a stoplight. We're in pole position. When the light turns green, we will pull the trigger and see how the car does with acceleration from pole position. That'll give us an idea of how it will accelerate from other cars. We'll try to grab one of them next. Okay, pull the trigger. It is competent, not leisurely, but it's not the way I would do it. It's a little slow. It's still faster than that thing beside us, which is, appears to be an old Volvo, old Mercedes. Perfect, there's somebody to get behind right there. Little signal, signal. Car slows with them. There's that Model S again. This Acura has Supreme stickers on the deck lid. There's a Honda Clarity plug-in behind us. Kind of see it in the mirror. I don't know. Let's see if my angle up. Here we go. Still, I'd call that leisurely. Or competent? I don't know. It was slower than when it was by itself. Okay. Can't change lanes away from cones when there's only one lane. Alright, let's see how it does here. An aggressive merge followed by a newly shortened on-ramp. Okay, we're fine on the merge, nobody's there. Let's see about the short on-ramp. And the car seems to think that the lane that the on-ramp dumps us into doesn't exist after a little while, so we'll see how it behaves. Alright, it did okay. And now it wants to leave the lane because it thinks the lane ends. It does, but not for miles. Alright, we're gonna ride this out, see if we find anything interesting, and then we will catch you on the flip side. That was an interesting error. It went away, but it said right rear safety restraint system fault. Contact Tesla service. So we want service, notifications. This guy right here. Right rear safety restraint system fault. I don't know if that's the same reason it keeps telling us that the seatbelt isn't, or the seat back isn't latched, or if that's the very right rear. I also redid the timing of the hands-on wheel notifications without being navigated on autopilot, and it made no difference. I got a hands-on wheel pretty quickly, same as it always is. Air's running a little cold, but that might just be because we're actually near our set point for temperature. If it gets colder, I will break out a thermometer of some sort. So the temperature situation where I thought it was feeling a little cool, right now the car is set to 69 and it was 68 when I looked at the car's readout. Right now it says 67. We'll keep an eye on it and see if it goes too far out of band to see if we are one of the people who loses climate control or not. If we are, then we'll let you know, because who wants to ride in a cold car in the middle of some of the coldest weather we've ever seen? Not me. We'll catch you on the flip side. All in all, I'd say this was a solid release. I didn't seem to have any troubles with the climate control. It did seem that the range that the climate control was willing to go was much wider. It went down to 67 and up to 71 with a 69 setting, so it's not unreasonable. The navigate on autopilot performed quite well in beep and greet, stop and go, as well as at the higher speeds. It performed pretty well with Autosteer and stoplight and stop sign control beta. The only concerns I have are the people who might lose their air conditioner, if that is a widespread thing or if it was just coincidental. But from what they are reporting is that Tesla tells them that at the next update it will be fixed. And I also had, not this version, but back in the summer of 2019, I had a failure of the air conditioner several times in the heat that appeared to have been related to software, because at the next couple software updates, after Tesla said they didn't find the problem, but they did see the logs where the compressor overheated, it has never happened again. It's going on 2 years now, and it's has never had another failure of the air conditioner. So with that in mind, I'd probably go ahead and do it, because I did. But if I was watching this video, I would probably still go ahead and do it. But that's up to you. It's again, that's 2021.4.6. We're coming from 2021.4.3. Over here are some videos that I think you'll enjoy and that Google thinks will be a good match for you. Over here is a subscription bubble, and I want to thank again our patrons and members, and we'll catch you on the flip side.